My sister crossed a line at my wedding, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw the photos. Planning my wedding took over a year. My fiancé Daniel and I wanted something intimate and meaningful. We chose a small venue, invited only close family and friends, and focused on personal details that reflected our relationship. My sister Olivia was my maid of honor. We'd always been close, despite occasional sibling rivalry, and I couldn't imagine the day without her. The week before the wedding, Olivia seemed off. She was short with me during dress fittings, rolled her eyes at my seating chart concerns, and generally acted like everything was a burden. I chalked it up to stress. She'd recently gone through a breakup and was probably dealing with her own emotions. The wedding day arrived. Everything felt magical. The ceremony went perfectly, and the reception was exactly what we'd hoped for. Olivia gave a toast that made people laugh and cry. She seemed back to her normal self, and I was relieved. Daniel and I left for our honeymoon the next morning. We were gone for 2 weeks in Italy, completely disconnected from phones and social media. It was blissful. When we returned home, our photographer had uploaded the wedding photos to a private gallery. Daniel and I spent an evening going through them with wine and takeout, reliving our favorite moments. That's when I noticed something strange. In dozens of photos, Olivia was positioned directly next to me, or Daniel, inserting herself into shots that should have been just the two of us. In our first dance photos, she was visible in the background making faces at the camera. During the cake cutting, she'd stepped partially into the frame. Even in our formal couple portraits, she'd managed to photobomb several with exaggerated poses. At first, I thought it was funny, classic Olivia being playful, but as I looked closer, I realized it was deliberate and excessive. She'd systematically ruined or invaded nearly every important photo moment. The photographer must have been too polite to tell her to move. Then I found the worst one. Our kiss at the altar, the most important moment of the ceremony, had Olivia clearly visible behind us pulling a ridiculous face with her tongue out. The photo that should have been beautiful and romantic was now unusable. I felt sick. This wasn't playful. This was sabotage. I called my mom to ask if she'd noticed Olivia's behavior during the wedding. Mom hesitated, then admitted that several relatives had mentioned it. Apparently, Olivia had also made comments throughout the reception about how weddings were outdated and marriage was just a piece of paper. She'd been drinking heavily and gotten increasingly bitter as the night went on. I confronted Olivia over the phone. At first, she tried to laugh it off, saying I was being too sensitive and that she was just having fun. When I pressed harder and explained how hurt I was, she got defensive. She said I'd been so wrapped up in wedding planning that I'd barely paid attention to her breakup. She felt like I didn't care about her pain. I was stunned. Yes, I'd been busy with wedding preparations, but I'd checked in with her multiple times. She'd always said she was fine. Now she was acting like I'd abandoned her, and she'd decided to punish me on my wedding day. We didn't speak for a month. Family members tried to mediate, but I wasn't ready. I kept looking at those photos and feeling angry all over again. Daniel was upset too, but he tried to be diplomatic since Olivia was my sister. Eventually, Olivia sent a long email. She apologized genuinely this time, admitting that she'd been jealous and hurting. Watching me be happy while she was miserable had triggered something ugly in her. She'd acted out like a child and regretted it deeply. She offered to pay for